The Jewish idea is that the Torah is a truth for all humanity, whether Jewish or not. The Torah presents 7 mitzvot for non-Jews to observe. These laws are the pillars of civilization and are named the 7 laws of Noah, as all humans are descended from Noah. They are: 1. Do not murder. 2. Do not steal. 3. Do not worship false gods. 4. Do not be sexually immoral. 5. Do not eat a limb removed from a live animal. 6. Do not curse God. And 7. Set up courts and bring offenders to justice. During a ceremony held in Jerusalem today, 2 more non-Jews joined the burgeoning community of Noahides. Yoni Kempinski was on the scene.
Shalom, Aaron.
Shalom, Yoni. Now, what took place this morning at the synagogue where you're reporting from?
Well, we're here in Jerusalem, in one of the synagogues in the neighborhoods of Jerusalem, where 2 members of the Benai Noach, the Noahides, came to pledge and obligate themselves to the 7 precepts, the 7 mitzvot of Benai Noach. We spoke to them before their pledging, and of course, we were with them when they spoke with the rabbis and obligated themselves to the 7 mitzvot of Benai Noach.
The only promise that Bnei Israel had to Hashem as far as keeping the Torah was their children. You know, we promise you we will teach our children. So that's why it's very meaningful to me that there's 2nd generation Bnei Noach here.
I pledge my allegiance to Hashem, God of Israel, creator and king of the universe, and to his Torah. I hereby pledge that I adhere to the 7 laws of Noah, and I furthermore pledge to continue to uphold these laws in all their details, according to the oral law of Moshe, under the guidance of the rabbis.
Blessed are you, God, King of the universe, who has caused me to live, sustained me, and brought me to this day.
It's like a new moment in your history. It's a new life because you go from being a generic Ben Noach to a righteous Gentile, to a person who has a place in the world to come, to a person who is, as it were, sanctifying God's name because you have chosen this path, not because you consider it to be moral or ethical or the right thing to do, but because it was revealed by Moshe from Hashem himself at Mount Sinai. And you go from the status of being a person who was not commanded to a person who was actually commanded and does these mitzvot, and that gives a greater spiritual stature to you. And so really, it's like a whole new beginning.
Many of us, Gentile, Bnei Noach, have left communities that we were used to, like growing up in, and we started out on a journey that often was lonely, was hard, we didn't know where we were going. And to me, what the rabbis are doing here this morning is giving us a completion of part of our journey. In other words, if you start out somewhere and never know which way you're headed, if there's somebody on the other side that says, welcome, you're here, you have arrived.
I was raised with the understanding already that Torah was the right way. After I returned to the States, I had to go through a fair bit of questioning and searching to try to find, was this really what I wanted to, was this really the way I wanted to go?
When you thirst for Torah and you get hungry for truth, then it just sort of keeps pushing you on and on.
Your job as a righteous Gentile in the world that we live in today, a world that seems everywhere to be falling apart, that seems to be on the brink of collapse, your job is to bring the light of the presence of God into the world through everything that you do.
Now, Yoni, is this seen as a first step towards final conversion to Judaism?
Well, actually, no. It's very important to understand and explain that becoming a Noahide, or basically one says that he from now on will keep all the 7 mitzvot of Benai Noach, is not especially have to be a step before becoming Judaism. It's important to understand that there is a role for all non-Jews in the world as non-Jews according to the Torah.
God did not intend everybody to be Jews. God intended people who were born Jews to be Jews. Other people who want to become Jews may, but you can be a God-fearing and a God-serving person without being Jewish.
I usually sort of jokingly say I'm not disciplined enough to take on the 613, if you might say.
I do believe that from what I have learned from Torah, there is a place for the Gentiles in Judaism.
If this is Bnei Israel, keepers of the Torah, I used to think that I was superior to the Jewish people. But as my eyes were opened, I realized that the Jewish people had a role in the scheme of God's plan, but yet I thought there should be dialogue. Now I place myself in this position, and now there is a clear channel or a conduit from Hashem, Torah, B'nai Israel, B'nai Noach.
I won't say never, but at this point in my life, I can't see that I would ever want to actually convert. I think that there is a place for me as I am, and as long as I am trying to follow the rules and the laws laid down for Noahides in the Torah, I'm happy with that.
It's a reality that other people in the world can look at who are hungry for Torah and say, that's what I want.
Now, Yoni, I understand there were also
new
Arabs present who wished to come
us.
close to the Jewish nation.
Yes, there are actually a few Arabs here today. We were not allowed to film them because they are afraid that if anyone knows that they are coming closer to Judaism and actually claiming that their ancestors are Jewish, then someone in their area, in their Arab communities, might harm them. They're here to raise their issue of Arabs that claim that a large majority of the Arabs who are called the Palestinian Arabs are actually descendants of Jewish families.
My goal is that everyone returns to their original religion and all the fighting must stop. The war is a war between brothers and not a war between cousins, as it is always referred to.
Their majority, according to several studies, geographical, genetic, and family trees, we know that between 80 to 86% of the Palestinians here in the country, including what are called Israeli Arabs and Bedouins, 86% or a bit less are of a Jewish Israeli origin.
I live in a place where most people are Muslim, and I don't want to be the first person assassinated because he returned to Judaism. For them, that's treason.
Now, these events are part of a whole day of discussion. Can you tell us about that?
The events today are part of a whole day dedicated to how to renew Jewish leadership, actual, original Jewish leadership based on Jewish concepts and ideas here in the land of Israel. A lot of actually pessimistic talking about the corruption, the security situation, but also lots of hope that there is a chance to renew more leadership that is based on Jewish ideas, Jewish concepts. We spoke to some of the organizers of the event.
One of our well-known attributes is that for every 2 Jews there are 3 opinions and 4 political parties. We are trying to unite all those who believe in the original Zionist agenda. We want to become a political power which can change everything here.
Anybody who basically says it is the right of every Jew to settle in the land of Israel, wherever they are, I don't care if he has a kippah or he doesn't have a kippah on. That's a national issue, and so it doesn't matter if the people wear kippah on their head or not.
Yoni Kempinski, thank you very much for joining us.